And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at Vecchio from Tasty Minstrel Games. This is about the Medici family gaining dominance. The Medici family, I wonder what they would think if they would realize how many board games have been based on their lives. This is a game about getting your family members into positions of prominence. It is a straight up Euro game, moving people around the board. Let's take a look. Here's the board for Vecchio. At the beginning of the game, players are going to be placing followers on the board. You do that by rolling some dice. And whenever you roll dice, let's say I rolled a 4, I would put them in cities that are next to the 4 territory. There's 4 cities, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you roll 7, you can put them wherever you want. Now you're trying to get these followers into different areas to score points for you over the course of this game. On your turn, you have one action, and actions are fairly simple. One of the actions can simply be rolling 2 dice and adding a follower next to, in a town that's adjacent. Here's a 5, and I can put a follower in a town that's by a 5. As you use these followers, as the game progresses, or family members, I'm sorry, as you use these family members, another action you can have is simply to stand up all your family members to revive them and also gain a florin. So those are 2 basic actions, but what you're often going to be doing is you're going to be moving followers to towns and utilizing them. Now when you move a follower on the board, and this doesn't count as an action, moving a follower just lets you use the action in a different town, but so I can move a follower before an action. Each town I move them to costs a florin, so if I move them 3 towns, it will cost me 3 florins. Alternatively, you'll be getting these tiles over the course of the game, these wagon tiles, and I can discard one of these to move a follower to any town on the map for free. Now, if your family member is in a spot where there is a middleman, and you can see here that there's this red middleman here, I can lay my follower down and take the action of that middleman. That middleman will then move to the next spot where he would go. Since this one is a red one, he goes clockwise all the way over here. And he'll move around the board. There's 4 spots for each middleman. If there's no middleman there, the only way to take the action is by using a bishop tile. If you have one of these, you can use that. And you can use that to take the action, and you don't even have to put the worker down whenever you use a bishop. These actions will do various things. Some of the actions will give you followers. You have assassins and knights and clergymen. You can take the associated tiles. Those followers will come with your family members. The purple one will give you either 2 of the bishops or 2 of the wagons. And I've already told you how useful both of those are. And then the brown middleman will give you scrolls or will give you 5 coins, which both of those are very useful. If you just want money, and you have somebody who's in one of the green towns. You can see right here, for example, in the middle of the board there, this town here, if I had a family member there, I could just lay him down and take 3 florins. So you're going around and doing this, but the whole point of this game is to get your followers to get points. And you do that in these areas outside. If I move a follower here outside the city into this area here, I can spend a certain amount of money. And so the first one would cost 4 coins, and I'm going to get 10 victory points at the end of the game. Now that follower is removed from the game, so I won't be able to use him anymore, so I'll probably have to add more followers or I'll run out eventually. You also will get one of these tiles here, which gives you one-time special use. Like for example, this one gives you the follower of your choice, this gives you a scroll, and this gives you 5 florins. And the other 3 are the same way, but each of these has a cost to it besides the money. It's not just money. This one here needs an assassin. The one I just showed you here at the bottom needs to have 2 of one follower and 1 of another. So maybe 2 clergymen and 1 assassin would be fine. And up here, the top one, this one needs a clergyman and a knight to send a guy up there. So you're going to need these people. You also might want to go to the main town here, Florenza, and here's you discard scrolls, and you'll be placing followers on these tracks. Now these are only going to be worth 2 points on this track or 1 point, but the tiles that they give you are fantastic. These tiles when you buy them and spend the scrolls to get them, will give you a special ability that you will get for the rest of the game. When you take one of these, you put it face down in front of you, and then you flip it over your next turn, and you get, for example, 4 coins. This says every time I take 5 coins now for the rest of the game from that one orange middleman, I will also get the 4 coins for it also. And so these have different special abilities, so you go here and get more special abilities. These, on the other hand, will give you bonus points. So this one, for example, says for all those one-time use tiles that I got from the outside areas at the end of the game, I get 3 points each. This one here says if I have one of each purple tile, 1 scroll, 1 follower, and a florin at the end of the game, I get 8 points. This one says if I have a guy in each of the outside areas on the board at the end of the game, then I'm going to get blurry, 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 5 points. And so there's different special points that you can get. Here, if I have 2 people, for every 2 guys I have in cities at the end of the game, I get 3 points, etc. So the game will continue. Every time you place a family member on one of these yellow spots, you turn over one of these tiles here in the middle of the table, and something will happen. Sometimes they cause you to move people. Sometimes they cause everybody to pay a tax. When the last one of these yellow tiles is turned over, there's one more round, and then the game will end. Players will get points for where their family members are, whether they are in the outside cities. They will also get, or inside Florence itself, they'll also get points for the different point tiles that they've taken over the course of the game, and whoever has the most points is the winner. Okay, well, first of all, I should have mentioned, it doesn't matter that much, but the board actually has 2 sides. You have this green side that I showed you, and then you have this more colorful side. I actually like the colorful side more. It's interesting. I'm not really sure what the reasoning was to have 2 different colored boards, but I don't mind it. The ideas in this game are very intriguing. Moving people around. What you're sitting there doing is trying to think of the best move that you can take on your turn while maybe making a move that affects somebody else. I'll tell you what, those bonus point tiles are really good. Those special power tiles are really good. And you want to get those, but if you get those early, first of all, you need to get scrolls to get those. Secondly, you're giving up workers. The price is to send here, I'm giving up family members, and I know that multiple times through this review I've mixed up family members and followers because you have these white tiles and gray and black tiles which are followers, and then these are family members. We mix them up all the time, but we call these workers and we call these tiles, and that's how we remembered it over the course of the game. But anyhow, you lose those family members when you score points. So scoring points early is cheaper money and it gives you more points. The problem is then you have less to work with. Now you could spend the first several turns of the game just rolling dice and getting more people on the board, but you could be losing getting other things. The first person who goes and buys one of those special power tiles has to pay an extra 3 coins, which is very costly at the beginning of the game, but it does give you a benefit. And also your strategy might depend on the starting special power you have. For example, in one game I had a power where whenever I went and found the purple middleman, I got an extra tile. I could take the 2 bishops and get a wagon wheel, or I could take the 2 wagon wheels and get a bishop. So I was getting 3, and so I was like, all right, I'm going to use that to go around and take things on the board as fast as I can. Now that being said, I think the special tiles are not all created equal, and I'm not so sure that at the beginning of the game that everybody who gets them, it might seem like some are better than others, and you can get a really cool combo. I don't think that's game breaking or anything. Something I noticed, and I don't know that I have enough depth with this game to be able to make that call. Moving everything around, like I said, it's very interesting. It rolls dice to put out the pieces. I like that. I like the moving around and deciding when to basically rejuvenate your workers because you're giving up your turn to do that. You're standing everybody back up, but you don't do anything that turn. Do you want to wait till you've used everybody, or do you want to stand them up? Will you move a middleman just so someone else can't use it in that same city? Certainly some interaction in this game. It isn't anything spectacular though. There's nothing here that elevates it amongst other Medici Euro game style. I mean, okay, you guys know how I often feel about themes, and the theme here is really non-existent. You're moving pieces around a board. I don't know why a bishop allows you to do an action that you couldn't normally do. I mean, I guess the wagon moving anywhere on the board makes sense if it was a transporter, but anyhow. The theme isn't there, but whatever. But the mechanisms of the game are good. They're solid. It was a fun game. I enjoy it. But when I was done, I didn't feel like I had played anything spectacular, anything different. I played it again, and I just didn't see rolling dice, getting the tiles, I felt like it was getting samey already. And so it's an interesting game, and there's some cool concepts here, but I'm not seeing long-term play. I'm not saying, oh, what new thing can I explore this time in a Vecchio? I feel like I could get maybe the same after a while. So it's a good Euro game. I just don't think it reaches those heights of greatness that we kind of look for when you're adding no theme or anything. So solid, some cool ideas, nothing groundbreaking, but I did enjoy how they used the dice and put the workers and when to bring your workers back, something that kind of calls into mind Manhattan Project and other worker placement games, and the actual movement of workers on the board costing money to get to where you need them to go. So looking for efficient paths and getting things done, it's interesting ideas. But I'm good with it. I don't think I ever need to play it again.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.